Safeco Field, I'm Marnie Gellner. Seattle has relied so much this season on the home run. The Mariners have scored a total of 60 runs this year, and exactly half, 30 of those, have come courtesy of the home run. Kyle Gibson will be very well aware of that when he faces these Mariners today. I asked him about his approach against some of Seattle's big bats.
The thing is, when you guys have guys that take bigger swings, they have to sell out a little bit more to take that big swing, especially on an inside pitch. So it'll be pretty key for me to locate inside, recognize when they're speeding up and when they're trying to get to that inside pitch, and then go back away with a fastball and off speed. So it'll be a good challenge for Suzuki or Herman and I, whoever's back there, and just try to stay one step ahead of the guys.
Gibson has solid career numbers against Seattle. Coming up next, Bert Blyleven on the keys for Kyle today.
Pitch gets a strikeout. Got him on a breaking ball down and in. The road trip ends as it began, with Kyle Gibson making the start for the Twins. He did not pitch particularly well in Kansas City. The Twins didn't play well around him. He'll hope for a better result here in the series and road trip finale. Dick Bramer and Bert Blyleven with you. The Twins have a chance to head home with a 500 road trip if they can pick up a win here today. The good news is Kyle Gibson typically has pitched pretty well against Seattle.
Yeah, he's making his third career start, and two of them coming last year. Kyle Gibson into 13 and a third innings, only one earned run allowed last year here in Seattle. 6 shutout innings and an 8-1 win for Kyle Gibson. Gibson, what we have seen throughout his career in 44 starts is some inconsistency. So far this year, walks and control have been an issue. Too many hits in 15 1/3 innings, too many walks. Still looking for that consistency. Paul Molitor wants him to just be consistent out there, keep the club in the game, and he has to trust his fastball. That's a big thing. Any pitcher, especially Gibson, that throws 92 to 94, get ahead with a fastball, then work in the off-speed pitches.
Twins head home after the game. They have an 11-game homestand starting tomorrow night. They'd like to get it started with a series win here in Seattle. The series here in Seattle in the series finale. And Paul Molitor has seen his team come back with a nice week and a half of baseball after a pretty rough start. And the Menards batting order for the Twins, a different look. Brian Dozier leading off. Shane Robinson moving up to the second spot. Then Joe Mauer, Trevor Plouffe, the two Eduardos, Oswaldo Arcia, Chris Herman, and Danny Santana. And there's a strike on the outside corner to Brian Dozier.
And on the mound, it'll be Roneni's Elias. Elias making his first start this season for the Seattle Mariners.
Dozier pops up the second pitch. Brad Miller, the shortstop, with the catch, one away. Roenis Elias just called up from Tacoma to pitch today's game when the Mariners had to put Hisashi Iwakuma on the disabled list the other day.
Yeah, those are his numbers from last year. 10 wins, 12 losses, and 29 starts.
Northland Ford defense for the Mariners kind of betrayed them in last night's game. Ackley in left, Jackson in center, Cruz in right. Seager committed 2 errors in the game last night. Miller and Cano up the middle. Morrison at first, and the backup catcher Jesus Sucre behind the plate. 1-0 to Shane Robinson. Getting the start in center field today. Had a good day at the plate yesterday. Really has not had a bad day at the plate in a Twins uniform. And outside 2-0.
Elias with a good fastball, very good curveball, also a changeup from Cuba, defected from Cuba back in 2010 and then signed by the Mariners in May of 2011.
Strike call, 2-1. Shane Robinson, 10 hits in 26 at bats. 9 singles and a double. Twins got a first inning run in the game last night. Then 7 more runs. Inside 3-1. Twins have had a couple of games like the Mariners had last night where you didn't feel so much that the other team beat you, but you beat yourself. The Twins have had a couple of those with some shoddy play in the field, and so maybe they were owed one and got one last night. 3-1 to Robinson.
That's exactly what Lloyd McClendon said in his press conference after the ball game, that they kind of gave it away.
A walk putting Robinson aboard with 1 out in the first. Bring up Joe Mauer. Joe playing in his 18th game of 18. There have been a few games where he's been the designated hitter, like last night back at first base, and I think the season's gotten off to a good start in one important category. Paul Molitor wants Joe Mauer to play, and if he has to give him a day off defensively, he will do that, putting him in the DH spot. I really think that if Joe is able to not spend any time on the disabled list, he's going to have 155 games or so this year.
Yeah, 120 last year. He had some issues, oblique strain, hit 277, only 4 home runs, and that's one thing the Twins want to see Joe not only pull the ball but also drive the ball a little bit better than he has so far.
Foul back 0-2.
Bauer with 19 hits on the season. 17 hits and only a couple extra base hits.
We said last night, one of the most encouraging numbers for Joe so far this year is ability to hit left-handed pitching, hitting them at a .345 clip in an 0-2 hole here in the first. Off the plate.
Yeah, Elias dropping down right there with that sweeping breaking ball.
So then the other side of the coin reads that Joe Mauer hitting just .212 against right-handers. One and two. No move from Robinson yet on trying to steal. There's a check of him.
Remember, he got picked off last night.
And with Mauer pulling the ball more, maybe the Twins less apt to send Robinson here, trying to keep the right side of that infield open for a ground ball base hit. 1-2.
Twins have 5 stolen bases in 10 attempts. Robinson has 2 of those 5. And last night he was picked off late in the ball game.
And a foul. Still 1-2. More hits to right field, and they've not been ground balls. They've been line drives to right and center. And just 1 hit to the opposite field so far.
That is reverse from what we have seen in the past, and those are the numbers from last year.
Nevertheless, the Mariners playing Mauer to hit the ball to the opposite field in the outfield. 1-2. And up the middle, a base hit. Robinson will round second. Slips a little bit. He'll still gain third base. He spun his wheels a little bit as he got to second base. And Mauer with 2 strikes gets another single to center.
A good piece of hitting. He took a couple breaking balls, fouled one off, and then got a fastball up and lined it right back up the middle. First hit of the ball game goes to the Twins and Joe Mauer.
See a bit of a stumble by Robinson, still able to get to third base. And now Plouffe in the cleanup spot again.
Trevor, an opportunity to drive in a run. 3 runs batted in so far. Last year led the club with driving in 80 runs.
Strike one.
The 80 RBIs last year for Trevor, a career high.
Foul back. What the Twins have lacked, one thing the Twins have lacked last couple of years is a right-handed batter that makes the other team wince when they throw a left-hander. The Twins have not had, maybe since Josh Willingham's first year with the Twins, a right-handed batter that really caused power trouble for the opposing left-handed starter. 2 strikes to Plouffe.
Doink.
And Jackson unable to make the catch, and Plouffe didn't drive the ball at all, but a little busted bat single to center puts the Twins in front.
Well, he hit it soft enough in front of the speedy Jackson to drive in a run. So the Twins, like last night, take an early 1-0 lead. The breaking ball. Trevor hitting it softly into center field. Robinson scores. Joe Mauer stops at second.
Plouffe came into the game hitting just 167 against lefties. Here's Nunez, the designated hitter today. Played left field last night.
6 hits and 10 at bats for Eduardo. And half of the 6 hits doubles.
And he takes strike 1. Eduardo Nunez has been a game changer this season when given a chance to play. In his 10 at bats, 6 hits, 3 doubles, 2 runs batted in, and 3 runs scored. One strike. Nunez lifts it to left. Athlete toward the gap, still going back and making a catch on the track. Mauer will advance from second to third. 2 down. It'll bring up Escobar. Escobar with just 1 hit last night, but it was a big hit, home run, his first of the year to tie the game at 2.
Yeah, that came in the 4th inning. That off the left-handed starter James Paxton. That tied the game at that time 2-2, and Twins ended up winning 8-5.
Just on the corner, ball 1.
There's Escobar on a 3-2 pitch, fastball. Got hold of that pitch.
And over the inside corner, 1-1.
And that home run for Escobar, not known as a home run hitter. That was his 10th career home run. Last year hit 6 home runs for the Twins.
Tap foul, 1-2.
Twins faced Elias last year 2 times, once in Minnesota, once here. He lost 4-3 back in May against Samuel Deduno, and then kind of a rematch between Elias and Kyle Gibson. Here, back on July 9th, he lost the ball game 8-1. He did not pitch very well in that ball game.
2-2. Yeah, Elias and Chris Young did a nice job rounding out the rotation for the Mariners. They had a very good rotation. McClendon talked about it this morning. How he feels his team is just about ready to take off on a good run. And somebody said, "Well, how will you do it?" And he says, "Well, with good pitching and better defense than the Mariners played last night."
Yeah, McClendon also mentioned, about Elias, and when he was in spring training, he had a very good spring training. He said it was one of the hardest things for him to do was to have to send this young man back to AAA. After, he says, not too often you send a 10-game winner back to the minors.
2-2 to Escobar, trying to deliver a big 2-out hit here in the first inning for the Twins. nearly a big 2-out hit.
Well, when Hernandez and Happ start a ball game, you can see what the Mariners' record is and how well they have pitched. And the other 3, now 4 starters have not fared real well.
Nice. Important big battle here between Escobar and Elias. Fly ball left field, and Ackley hardly has to move. Twins take advantage of a 1-out walk and take the first lead of the game. Play more consistent baseball. A loss last night, another chance for them to win 3 in a row, and they couldn't get it done. Here's the Menards batting order for the Mariners. Austin Jackson, Seth Smith, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Logan Morrison, Justin Ackley, Brad Miller with the 3 hits and 7 at-bats against today's Twin starter, and then Jesus Sucre.
And Kyle Gibson on the mound, making his 4th start of the year, his 4th career start against the Seattle Mariners. 2-1 with an ERA at 3 against the Mariners, making his 3rd start here. See the 9 walks in 15 1/3 innings, 21 hits allowed. Needs to do a better job of attacking the strike zone, get ahead in the count.
1 strike to Austin Jackson. Hit a 2-run home run last night to start a Mariner comeback that they could not finish. Missing inside 1-1. Breaking ball down and away.
Gibson at 6'6", about 220. Tries to stay on top of that ball. I mean, on top because of the long arms he has, but then also create that downward plane.
1 hopper to Santana. Sets and fires to Mauer, 1 away. Northland 4 defense for the Twins. Eduardo Escobar getting the start in left field. Shane Robinson in center. Oswaldo Arcia moved back to right field for today's game. Blue, Santana, Dozier, and Mauer. Chris Herman bringing the long-awaited start behind the plate. Arcia has been the regular left fielder for the Twins, but Torrey Hunter getting the day off. And Herman getting a chance to give Kurt Suzuki a break. 1 down, here's Seth Smith. And there is strike 1. Smith, the designated hitter for the Mariners today. Strike 2. Since the awful home opening game against Kansas City, the Twins are 6-4. The starting pitchers are 4-3 with an ERA of 3.22. Santana positioned perfectly. 2 down. Now, those types of numbers, we've not had periods of time like that over the last 4 years where we've had 2 turns through the rotation and the starters have had an ERA in the low 3s. 2 down. And Cano will come up with the bases empty. Phil Hughes is 0-4. Twins have scored him 2 runs while he's been in the game so far this year. So that's the type of thing that will even out, you would think, over the course of a season. But Mike Pelfrey has pitched well in the rotation. Ricky Nolasco pitched today. He just finished up 5 innings in Cedar Rapids on a rehab assignment.
And Tommy Malone, tomorrow's starter, has pitched well. Once the Tigers come into town.
Cano drops down a bunt foul. 1-1. Twins with a pull shift on for Cano, and he's staring at some wide open space on the left side of the infield.
Well, especially with Cruz on deck, not a bad opportunity for him to do what he tried to do, is just punch it toward that third baseline.
Twins don't budge an inch after the bunt attempt. Still shifting him. 1-1 from Gibson to Cano. And now 1-2.
Cano, a 6-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner in his 2nd season with the Mariners. He's a guy that is out there every game. Since 2007, over the last 8 seasons, he's missed only 19 games.
2 hops to Dozier. Good sign for Gibson. A 1-2-3 inning on 3 ground ball outs.
Seattle. Yesterday's starter Trevor May had to leave the game in the 4th inning when a Kyle Seager comebacker caught him on the elbow. But good news for May, the official report is that he just has a bruised elbow. It's our Sanford Health injury report. I spoke to May this morning and he said, I have no trouble whatsoever moving my arm around today or anything. It just feels like a bruise. He said he kept an anti-swelling patch on his elbow all night, and he said it's very tender to the touch. It definitely feels like I got hit pretty good, but nothing more than a bruise. He said his mobility's fine, no issues with the hand at all. Dick and Bert, that is great news considering how scary that could have been for Trevor May.
And how well he's been pitching. The Twins were fearful of losing him for a start. And when I talked to Trevor, he said he's pretty confident he's going to be able to make his next start. That a lot will depend on how his arm feels during the bullpen session, either tomorrow or Tuesday. Thank you, Marnie. 1-1 to Oswaldo Arcia, leading off the Twins' second.
Yeah, thank you, Marnie.
1-2 to Arcia. Arcia marginally hitting better against lefties than righties, but the left-handed batting average isn't great. .214. The most encouraging thing is his strikeout rate is much lower against lefties than righties. We'll see what he can get done here with this 1-2 count. Around the hands, 2-2. Strike 3 set up by ball 2.
Well, he went right after him with good fastballs and then dropped down a little bit on that breaking ball. A big sweeper. And Elias picks up his first strikeout.
One down. That'll bring up Chris Herman, another left-handed batter. Paul Molitor. Most managers do it. All the good ones do. Ron Gardenhire did it, communicating with players about when they're going to be used, particularly the backup players. And Herman was told earlier in this road trip that he'd probably start the Sunday game in Seattle, anticipating that Hisashi Iwakuma, a right-hander, would be making the start. And rather than change plans, manager giving Herman a start against a lefty.
Yeah, believe me, Chris Herman does not care who's out there. He just wants to play.
First at bat against a lefty this year. 2 strikes. Out 2 down.
Elias last year 143 strikeouts in 164 innings pitched. Big sweeping breaking ball, great location.
We'll bring up Danny Santana, dropping down to the 9th spot in the batting order. Molitor trying to take a lot of pressure off of him, just let him relax, hopefully a little bit more. He takes strike 1.
Hitting right-handed a little bit better than left-hander so far this year, hitting .263 as a right-handed hitter.
A little bit low, 1-1. 59 at bats and 19 strikeouts. Dozen hits. 1-2.
Elias 26 years old. Have him listed at 6'1", about 190. Made 3 starts down in AAA Tacoma before this start.
And that ticked him. 1-2 pitch that brushed him, and Santana will go to first. We'll see if the Twins try to move him from there during the Dozier at bat. Just brushed the jersey.
We saw where Sucre, the catcher, was sitting inside and just got a piece of Santana.
Dozier had a pop up to short his first time up. He's hit lefties at a .280 clip with 3 doubles. Inside, ball 1. To face another left-hander tomorrow, David Price.
See if Santana can get maybe a good lead and a jump at first base.
Brian Dozier is today's DraftKings player to watch. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code Twin City. 2-0 to Dozier. See if he gets something good to drive here. Out over the plate, taken for strike 1.
Possible hit and run right there. They had Elias throw over to first.
Santana 1 for 2 on stolen bases. Elias has some trouble getting the ball into his glove. Finally gets a grip, throws Dozier out, and the Twins strike out a couple of times, come up empty in the second inning. Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Kyle Gibson 14-0 in his wins, and he's 0-14 in his losses. Do you believe that? Look at the ERA.
Yeah,
that's the big thing, the opponent batting average.
Yeah, we've seen the good and we've seen the bad, and that's one thing Kyle wants to look for, and that's what he'd like to be, a little more consistent throughout the summer.
Over the inside corner to Nelson Cruz. He'll be followed by Kyle Seager and Logan Morrison. Line to Plouffe. One away.
And the largest ERA difference since 2014. Kyle Gibson does not want to be on top of that list, but he is.
You know what you want to do, and I think we've seen it the last couple of turns through the rotation, what we were talking about before. Just get the sense that if pitcher X is starting for you, you got a good chance to win, and that requires consistency.
Right.
Not having terribly short starts, which was a problem that Gibson was plagued with last year. Strike one.
You know, I saw him in the first inning. He got 3 ground ball outs. It looks to me he's got really good rhythm today. Seems like he's staying over that pitching rubber a little bit longer, really concentrating on keeping that ball down if you miss that breaking ball down. Not trying to overthrow, and I think that's what we've seen the first couple of starts. Because in spring training they had him clocked at 94. Well, he's not good at 94. He relies on ground ball outs. He's not a strikeout pitcher. There's some movement on that pitch, just missing.
Gibson, to your point, has now pitched 16 2/3 innings. He has only 3 strikeouts.
Right.
Last year, about 5.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. There are times when you're out there, and if you've got guys on base, you'd like to be able to get a strikeout. Pass to diving Santana and a base hit for Kyle Seager.
Well, Seager got a fastball away and didn't try to pull it. Just went with it, hit it sharply past the diving Santana. So the Mariners pick up their first hit.
A couple of well hit balls here in the second, and now Logan Morrison.
Well, a big part of Gibson's game is to get that ground ball double play, and he's had 4 behind him so far this year. Morrison has been struggling at the plate, hitting just 172. Did hit a home run here on Friday night against Phil Hughes.
Away ball 1. Gibson in search of his 5th ground ball double play of the season. Only 1 stolen base attempt against Gibson this year. It was successful.
He's pretty quick home over his career. Not a lot of stolen bases against him. Only 12 in 18 attempts.
Double play grounder.
And we called it, did we not?
Santana to the bag. That takes care of the base hit. Gibson has faced the minimum through 2 innings.
Your link to what's next by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
A first inning run for the Twins, scored by Shane Robinson, who drew a 1-out walk in the first. Came in on a Trevor Plouffe single. So far, that's it. Twins hoping to head home with a 3-3 road trip. Hoping to open up the homestand with an 8-10 mark, and then beyond that, hoping to have a really good homestand. There's nothing impossible about that.
Well, just do what they did in their first homestand, won 4 of 6. Well, they got some more games on this homestand, a nice long homestand.
You got 11 games in this homestand. If you can win here today, teams ought to be able to have that, 7-4, 8-3 homestand. That shouldn't be too much to ask if you're getting good starting pitching, and the Twins have been getting that. 2 strikes to Robinson, and outside ball 1. That's been one of the issues for the Twins over the last 4 years. They haven't played well in front of the customers.
That, you know what, you have to say, and you got a new manager. I know Guardia drove him crazy that they weren't winning at home, but that was then and this is now. Yeah. Winning 4 of the first 6 is a good sign.
2-2 to Robinson. He worked the count, ended up drawing a 1-out walk. The Twins got singles from Mauer and Plouffe, and there's the first run. It's down the line, and it's a base hit. Robinson will round first and hold up there with an opposite field single. Just kind of pushed the ball between Morrison and the line for a leadoff hit. And before Mauer's at bat during the month of April, Fox Sports North wants you to share your excitement and passion for Minnesota sports. Using the hashtag #AprilMadeMeDoIt, send us a photo of your family decked out in team gear. Maybe your faces are painted in team colors, as long as it shows your enthusiasm for your hometown team. And follow FS North on Twitter to find out how you could win an April Made Me Do It prize pack. Better hurry, it's the 26th of April. Here's Mauer. Down low, ball one. Mauer with a sharp single to center on a 2-strike pitch from Roenis Elias.
Yeah, Elias making his first start of the year. 29 starts last year. Left-handers hit only 212 off of him. Right-handers 257, 248 overall.
Miller, the shortstop, now shifted over to where Mauer's line drive was hit. And Mauer bunts up the line with only one infielder on that side. I like to see that.
Yep.
You know, if they're going to try to take something away from you, and I don't care if your name is Joe Mauer, Oswaldo Arcia, or whomever, Cano tried it.
Yeah,
if
they're going
to give you a hit, take it.
Right, and I think, and as long as they keep keeping these shifts on, we saw Joe do it a couple times last year, get hits just like that. The ball stayed fair, and he kind of walked to first base.
1-1 to Mauer. That's to the gap in left center field. Slicing away from the center fielder Jackson. Robinson got a good read. He'll round third. He is heading home. And Mauer with an RBI double has made it 2-0.
That's what you like to see from Joe Mauer. Looked like a breaking ball, stayed up a little bit. He took it the other way. In that gap, his third double of the year, driving in his 7th run. You get the Speedy Robertson on. You see the breaking ball just kind of hang. Joe taking it the other way. Even though Jackson is favoring that left center, that ball kept slicing away from him.
It's a pretty good list to be on. He's tied Kent Hrbek now on the Twins doubles list. And now Plouffe dropped an RBI single into center his first time up. That one lands in front of the right-handed batter's box. Ball one. Twins will open up that homestand tomorrow against the Tigers. They just wrapped up an 8-6 win over Cleveland at Comerica Park. Outside, 2-0. Mariners having their starting pitching depth tested by calling Elias up. Twins had to go through that in the first week of the season. The Irvin Santana suspension, Ricky Velasco's injury. Here's a roller to third. Seager looks at Mauer and throws to Morrison, one away.
Yeah, non-productive out right there for Trevor Plouffe, leaving Mauer at second base.
See what Nunez can get done here. Twins trying to pad the lead. They've doubled it here in the third. Mauer at second with one out. Nunez with a fly to left center field, his first time up. Over the inside corner. And Nunez drops down a bunt. Elias can't make the pickup with the bare hand, and Nunez ends a bunt single.
Yeah, Elias came over, and I think he took his eye off the ball, trying to get the ball and throw to first all in one motion.
The same spot on the field where Dozier hit his chopper.
How about Elias right there? He's the only one that can make this play. And right there, just kind of took his eye off the ball. Unable to get it.
No base hit for Nunez. They Instead, give him a sacrifice. It was clear to me he was trying to bunt for a base hit. He wouldn't be sacrificing with 1 out, but that's the official scorer's rule.
Hopefully they will change that.
Here's Escobar. Foul. Why on earth would he try to sacrifice with 1 out in the inning?
Now they have an error on the board for the Mariners, and I don't recall an error.
Okay.
Kind of what got Aaron Hicks in trouble in spring training. He was looking at the scoreboard, and I think the board had 1 out.
The difference is you and I get paid to do it. We can look at the scoreboard all we want.
Well, I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes the players are down there and they look at the scoreboard to see what the count is, and sometimes forget to ask the umpire how many outs there are, just to double check and make sure.
That foul, 2 strikes now to Escobar. Clearly Nunez was bunting for a base hit, and had Elias barehanded it thrown, it would have been a very close play.
Yeah, they did. No, they have not changed it yet.
Now they give him a base hit. The announcement.
I was going to say maybe they were going to say that Elias was going to get an error on that.
No, I'm not sure where the error is yet. Two strikes to Escobar, trying to get Mauer in from third with 1 out. And that's foul over the head of Gene Glenn. Three hits this inning, 5 in the game, and they've taken the error off the scoreboard.
That's what they were thinking then, that Elias should have been credited with an error, but that was a tough play.
Escobar trying to get the ball to the outfield, deep enough to score Mauer. Getting out of an 0-2 hole. There goes Nunez, and Escobar taps it foul off his foot. Nunez running into left field.
And again, losing his helmet.
Second base umpire Scott Berry will hand it to him. That was really one of the gratifying things about the win last night. The Mariners kind of gift wrapped a few of the Twins' runs, but it was the non-starters who got a chance to start that contributed heavily in the Twins' win. Escobar with the home run. Nunez had a good day at the plate on the bases and in left field. Escobar takes outside. Shane Robinson with a good day at the plate. Ultimately, if this team's going to be better by season's end, it's going to require that the non-starters play well when they start.
Yeah, anytime you have a winning team and a winning season, it's not the normal 9 starters, it's everybody contributing.
Escobar grinding out an at-bat here against Elias. Playing with the lead and have some speed at first in Nunez.
Yeah, a lot of pitches for Elias, 58 right now. And Nunez, good speed, 9 stolen bases in 12 attempts last year, and over his career 57 stolen bases in 71 attempts. So pretty good success rate.
Straight tosses to first. Nunez goes half swing, strike 3, and out at second base. You strike him out, throw him out. Ends the inning. So on a half swing, now Molitor is going to check and see whether we may have a review at second base. It looked like Nunez tried to duck his hand in under the tag.
Well, I think the tag was around his feet area, and ball says, okay, let's go. Double play.
1 for the Twins, and they misfire, trying to add more. It's 2-0. He's faced the minimum number of batters through 2. He'll face Dustin Ackley here in the 3rd. Strike 1. Brad Miller and Jesus Sucre will follow. The base hit made it to the outfield. All the outs have been recorded on the infield. 5 on ground balls, 1 on a line drive. This one lifted to left. Back a few steps, Escobar with the catch, 1 away. Let's get caught up with the Twins taking the early lead.
Well, the walk to Robinson to lead off the ball game after Dozier popped up. Then Joe Mauer followed with a base hit. RBI single by Trevor Plouffe made it a 1-0 ball game, and then in the 3rd inning, an RBI double by Joe Mauer made it 2-0. Kyle Gibson so far faced 7 batters, 7 outs. Just 1 base hit allowed.
Brad Miller, the shortstop, squares to bunt, takes ball 1. We're off to a solid start at the plate. Chop to the right side, easy play for Mauer as he goes to the bag, 2 down. That'll bring up Jesus Sucre.
I said it last inning. I just sense Gibson, for some reason, he's just a little calmer out there on that mound today for some reason. He has had success against the Mariners. That's always a positive. He's pitched well here at Safeco Field.
Backup catcher Sucre, 0 for 5 on the season. And a strike. Zunino, the regular catcher for Seattle. Zunino, even in the days when he hasn't started, he's played in every game for the Mariners.
It's kind of like Salvador Perez for the Kansas City Royals. Does not want to sit.
Bouncer to short. Santana gets in front of it. Rifles his throw off target. It'll be a throwing error on Santana. Yet plenty of time. And his throw sailed, allowing Sucre to reach.
Yeah, he got around this ball very nicely. Went to his right, got behind it. Good strong throw, sets up, and a throw up the line. And for Santana, that's his 5th error of the year at short.
His throwing errors tend to come, it seems, when he just kind of eases the ball over there. We saw him after committing an error the other day on a double play grounder, gun the ball to first. When he has to use his arm, it seems like it's more accurate than when he just guides the ball over there. 1 strike to Austin Jackson. Mariners hoping to take advantage of the extra out here in the 3rd. Nice block by Herman, 1-1.
Like the change up down. Herman did a good job of keeping it in front of him. Gibson throwing strikes. 7 of 10 batters first pitch strikes. 29 pitches, 19 strikes.
And the 201 is right on time.
Yeah, I got 205. Am I quick?
I'm not sure quite how to answer that. I think your watch is too fast. How about that?
Yeah, we'll keep it at that.
2-1.
Sunday, I'm not saying nothing.
3-1. Seth Smith would hit next. Gibson needs to pick up his shortstop here and make sure that nothing bad mushrooms here.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. As a pitcher, you know, the guys make great plays behind you, and when somebody does make an error, you want to pick them up and see if Gibson's able to do that.
Snap foul, 3-2. Nice catch by the ball girl.
Yes. She was ready for it. High fives all around.
And it was a foul ball. That helps too when the ball girls or boys pick up foul balls rather than fair balls. 3-2. Sucre will take off early. Bouncer to short. Santana gets another chance. And on target this time, the error, other than a handful of pitches for Gibson, not a factor. You're watching the Twins Mariners series on Fox Sports North, presented by Subway. Presented by Subway. Skies trying to clear. Sun shining down on Safeco Field. Oswaldo Arcia will start the fourth inning for the Twins, up 2-0. Arcia, Herman, and Santana. Arcia and Herman, strikeout victims. Their first time up against Roenis Elias. First pitch strike. Twins with Vargas on the bench, Torrey Hunter, Kurt Suzuki, Jordan Schaefer. The Twins will face left-hander David Price in the series opener with the Tigers tomorrow at Target Field. We're expecting great weather for at least the start of the homestand. Arcia pulls it through the hole to right, a base hit.
Good at bat for Arcia.
Let's see what Herman can do to back him up. Twins are 2-3 on this road trip. I think we are 5-0 on Carsoup.com.
Of course
trivia.
we are.
As a Twin, which player has the most home runs here at Safeco Field? In other words, Torrey Hunter couldn't be the answer. I suppose he could be, but his home runs that he hit with the Angels and Tigers here don't count.
So you go back to 1999.
Second half of the year that year.
Right.
Torrey might still be the answer. He didn't play for the Twins for 7 years. Inside to Herman, ball one. Ball's always carried better here during the day. Herman can drive the ball, maybe find a gap here. Foul, 1-1. Coming into play today, the Twins had a run differential of -23. But as you remember, the series started in Detroit, and after that first 3-game series, the Twins were minus 24. So since that awful series to get the season started, they've actually scored more runs than they've given up. And breaking ball over, 1-2. And yet this lineup really hasn't clicked yet, not as it was hoped to do. Santana, the projected leadoff batter, has really struggled. Vargas, the projected cleanup batter, has really struggled. Here comes Lloyd McClendon.
Yeah.
Without a trainer. So I don't know what the issue might be here. It is a trip to the mound and a managerial trip to the mound. So this is not health related in any way.
Kind of motions of his hands maybe calm down a little bit. I don't know. Now talking to Sucre, the catcher.
And the home plate umpire. So I'm not sure what that was all about. I didn't see anything, and there seems to be some discussion between McClendon and Barber. They have an issue. And McClendon's been tossed.
Well, Sean Barber, just a minor league call-up for this series. I'm just wondering if that walkout was to create this situation right here.
I think it was, but I
really don't know what it could be about.
I'm puzzled.
There wasn't really any calls that were
none that
questionable,
I noticed.
right? That we saw from up here.
64 pitches, 43 strikes, a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio for the Seattle starting pitcher. I really don't know what the issue was. 1-2 to Herman. To first, Morrison fires to Miller, and Herman beats the relay, 1 down. Herman reaches on a fielder's choice.
It's a very nice play by Morrison right there, charging the ball and trying to get it before it took that little short hop. He did get the force out at second base.
Here's Danny Santana, fell behind quickly, 2 strikes, and then his jersey was brushed by a pitch. Ended up taking first base. And fouled over the screen, strike 1. The way that Tom Bernansky's discussed Santana's problems, and Paul Molitor kind of get the sense that Santana's caught in between about how to approach an at bat. Strike 2 called. He goes up there, he's trying to draw walks because he was a leadoff batter. He's taking pitches, and that's against his nature.
Yeah, this might be a good spot for him in the batting order. Hitting in the bottom, like you said, just a little less pressure, but he's got such quick hands. Just see the ball, hit the ball.
Santana struck out. I thought he might have gotten a piece of it, but on 3 pitches, he's a strikeout victim. 2 down.
Elias picking up his 4th strikeout.
May 26th is Healthcare Professionals Night at Target Field. Special ticket packages are available that include exclusive Twins branded scrubs. Limited number of ticket packages available, and your only way to get your Twin scrubs. Visit twinsbaseball.com/healthcare for tickets and more information. Here is Brian Dozier. Away, ball 1. Dozier came into the game 4 for 5 with a home run against Elias. And Elias has so far from Dozier gotten a weak pop-up and a little number in the grass near the mound. Taking low, 2-0. Elias looked in like he thought he might have deliver that ball at the knees. Up and away 3-0 with Robinson on deck. One walk issued by Elias. That was Robinson back in the first inning.
Brian has a green light here.
That's a strike. And now Dozier takes a walk. There'll be runners at first and second for Shane Robinson. Second walk issued by Elias.
You know, James Paxton, a left-hander, worked in last night's ball game. Ended up pitching 4 2/3 innings through 106 pitches, and already 74 pitches thrown by Elias, trying to get the final out here in the fourth.
Robinson has walked and singled and scored both runs in the game. Driven in 5 on the season. Robinson bunts through it. And Sucre bluffs a throw to second. I was going to say, based on that first delivery, if the Twins wanted a double steal here, they'd be able to get it because they're not holding Herman on at all. And Elias hardly even looked back at second base. Cano, the second baseman, in the vicinity of second base. One strike to Robinson. Now a ball. Twins haven't gotten a 2-out hit yet. RBI singles with 1 out by Plouffe in the first, and a no-out RBI double by Mauer in the third. Jack swing, but he went 1 and 2. Chop foul. Sense in hearing Paul Molitor talk about Robinson that Robinson is Molitor's type of player. Very analytical of situations. And Paul said this morning that he's mentioned a few things to Robinson. Robinson's very receptive to listening about situations and what to do and why to do it.
He's a scrappy little player.
He strikes out here, leaving 2 men aboard. The Twins still lead 2-0.
keep it fair. I'm sure you noticed, but on a lot of my inside sinkers, a lot of foul balls, either down or down the line. With it coming in, it's just a little bit harder pitch to keep fair. So to hit that ball fair, they got to get their hands going. So it's up to me and the catcher to recognize, okay, they're getting their hands going. Now it's time to go to the off speed, and then you can go back away where you have them actually, making sure they can get to that inside pitch.
Yeah, that's pitching right there. That's working both sides of the plate. And, Kyle likes to throw right-handers inside. He'll face two lefties before his first right-handed batter he'll face, and that being Nelson Cruz.
Only hit has come from Seager, a lefty. Smith, Cano, Cruz. It's a high batting average to allow right-handed hitters. 11 hits, 31 at bats, 355, but with 6 walks added to that. 1-1 to Smith, then Cano, then Cruz. High and very deep to right field, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Now Smith hitting his first home run as a Seattle Mariner, coming over from the Padres where he spent last year.
It's the second home run allowed by Gibson, and it comes leading off the fourth.
That pitch pretty much right down Broadway. And Smith with that uppercut swing makes it a 2-1 ball game. For Gibson, only his second home run allowed.
And now Robinson Cano in a 2-1 ball game, and he takes outside ball one. Cano bringing an 11-game hitting streak into the game today. Grounded out sharply to Dozier his first time up. Check swing. 2-0. Off the outside corner, 3-0 with Cruz on deck.
One thing Gibson's, the bad part is he's let innings mushroom. Okay, give up the home run, now continue to attack the strike zone, now falling behind, and he walks Cano on 4 pitches.
First walk issued by Gibson today, and now he'll have to face Cruz with a man aboard. We showed you Gibson's had good numbers against the Mariners, an ERA of 3 in his career. He got a ground ball double play in the second inning. He'll try to get Cruz to hit one at somebody in the infield here in the 4th inning. Strike at the knees.
All 3 pitches to Cruz so far have been inside. On the second pitch in the first inning, fastball in that he hit sharply to Plouffe.
Line drive for an out. First out of the second inning. Ball down and away.
Yeah, that's that slider, and that's one thing he told Marnie in that interview, that he just was not happy with that slider in his last start against Kansas City.
Neil Allen, the pitching coach for the Twins. Missing inside, 2-1. Since the home run, Gibson's misfired on 6 of 7 pitches.
I know he likes to work in, but still, I go back to Joe DiMaggio's or Ted Williams' chart. Every pitch down and away, that's where you kind of control. And Cruz right now, with that open stance, he's looking middle in. You have to control both sides of the plate. And he misses low there.
3-1.
Now, we showed you on Friday night the hot zones. And At 429, 462, 600 inside. You look down and away, 231.
Gibson can't be picky here. He's got to throw a strike. And Phil Hughes yesterday threw one right in the middle of the plate, and it got clobbered for a very loud and long home run.
Well, call me from the old school, but I watched, Catfish Hunter, Ferguson Jenkins, Greg Maddux, they all controlled down and away. This pitch that Herman wants right here, you have to be able to get that over down and away. And second straight walk for Gibson.
Tying run now at second, nobody out. And Neil Allen almost trips going down the stairs to come up the stairs and come to the mound.
Yeah, we'll do a little pitch by pitch. There's strike one. And then he missed with the breaking ball. Then he tried to go with that sinker inside. He tried it again and missed low. And then this is the pitch. Ended up throwing a slider, 3-1. You have to control that fastball down and away.
Seager will hit with the tying run at second, nobody out. As ragged as he's been this inning, and you can see just 24 strikes and 45 pitches. He does have the potential advantage of getting 2 outs on 1 pitch if he can deliver the pitch where he wants.
Now Seager got a fastball up, and credit him, he just went with it and hit it past to Santana to his right.
Strike, down and away.
Five double plays turned behind Gibson. One here already this afternoon in his 4th start.
Grounder to Bauer. Out at second, relay to first. And Gibson tried to sell it. First base umpire Angel Hernandez said the relay was not in time.
Joe had a little trouble getting that ball out of his glove. Could that be an extra step that Seager got? Dozier strong throw with the pitcher covering, becoming the first baseman. Right there, that little bobble. And then Santana's strong throw. And Gibson there as the first baseman now on a bang-bang play. Seager stays out of a double play.
Double play still in order now for Logan Morrison, who hit into one in his first at bat. Giving signs in front of home plate in the event Seager takes off for second. Morrison hit a ground ball to Santana, who started a double play to wrap up the second inning. Dug out by Herman, ball 1.
Yeah, change up right there, missed low. This is again where Gibson has to trust that sinker down and away. Tries the changeup, and Herman doing a good job of keeping it in his glove.
One and 0. To first, and Bauer with the tag. The tying run scored. Trevor with a backhanded stop of a smash headed for the corner.
Actually, that's a very nice play by Trevor Plouffe, and he kind of looked at second, didn't think he had a chance to get Seager, and kind of alertly threw it over to first. So Morrison will be credited with an RBI, but Trevor Plouffe saw how quick Seager got to second base. There probably would not have a play, but nice heads-up play by Trevor Plouffe. And a nice pick by Joe Mauer.
Mariners have tied it up, and now Ackley with Seager at second and 2 down. Foul. Coincidence or not, Lloyd McClendon gets tossed in what appeared to be just an effort to fire his team up, get them awakened a little bit on a Sunday afternoon, and they come back and score a couple runs in their first innings worth of at bats. Ackley with a fly to left, his first time up. Swing and a miss. Run the ball back to the mound. Crossed up on that.
Yeah, you wonder, but Herman caught that okay. The breaking ball down and in. Force runner at second, you'll go through more than one sign. But watch Herman's reaction.
Two strikes. Gibson does not have a strikeout yet. Has to leap to get leather on that pitch that came in over the head of Dustin Ackley. Wild pitch advancing Seager to third.
Yeah, Gibson charged with a wild pitch, his second wild pitch of the year.
One and two. Mariners tied up on a home run. Some control issues for Kyle Gibson. You're watching the Twins Mariners series on Fox Sports North, presented by Subway.
Again.
And our Pepsi fan of the game, hoping the Twins can regain the lead after giving it up in the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Mauer, Plouffe, and Nunez facing Roenis Elias, starting in place of Hisashi Iwakuma. Mauer with a single and a double against the lefty, and he takes strike one. To left, Ackley with the catch. Mauer put the barrel of the bat on it 3 times. This time for an out, one down.
He hit that ball sharply right there, fastball, but good swing by Joe Mauer. There's a line drive out to Ackley in left field.
Plouffe with a broken bat single to center and an RBI in the first, and then he hit a ground ball to Seager in the third. Twins with a run on the first, one in the third, two in the fourth for Seattle. Fox Tracks presented by Jeep. Outside ball one. Seager bobbles it, recovered, and throws Plouffe out, two down. Bring up Nunez. This is an anniversary of an odd night in Twins history. Back in 1986, 29 years ago, the Twins were playing the Angels. They had, I believe, 7-2 lead or something like that in the 8th inning. Thunderstorm passed overhead. There was a downdraft. The fabric of the Metrodome snagged on a bolt and started ripping, and all the air started rushing out of the Metrodome. The lights in right field were starting to descend on the seats up there. Of course, the speakers up there as well. They had to evacuate the building for about 15 minutes and had to turn the fans on high just to reinflate the dome. They resumed play, and baseballs were flying out of there like Titleists. Angels hit 3 home runs in the late innings, in part because of the increased fan speed to reinflate the dome, and the Angels ended up coming back and winning the game.
That's exactly what Whitey Herzog said in the '87 World Series. The fans were blowing out.
The only problem was the Angels were hitting at the time. 2 strikes to Nunez. And now a ball. Nunez with a single his last time up. Twins have left at least one man on in every inning so far against Elias. Nunez strikes out, and Elias has his first 1-2-3 inning.
Games, you bring your Circle Me signs, something like that. You might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner's circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Very nice sign. You are hereby circled.
11 games at home coming up starting tomorrow. 3 with the Tigers, 4 with the White Sox, 4 with the A's. Tie game here, and first pitch outside to Brad Miller. So hoping to get back whatever he lost in the 4th inning in terms of touch, location,
You know, you're going to run through that. I always say there's 1 or 2 times you go 7, 8, 9 innings, you're going to have 1 or 2 outings or innings that kind of get away from you, and hopefully the 4th. Now it's up to Gibson to find himself again and to be a little more consistent.
2-1. It wasn't so much the home run, although that got the Mariners their first run, but it was the control issues that followed.
Right. A couple walks to Cano and Cruz, and Cano scoring the tying run because of the walk.
It's hit to right center field and deep. Robinson watches it one hop the wall. It's an opening double for Brad Miller here in the 5th. Fell behind Miller, 2-1, and then Miller was able to drive one to right center field.
Yeah, ball looked like it was up, and Miller just got good wood on it and hit it to deep right center. His 3rd double of the season.
It's the 3rd Mariner hit. And now Jesus Sucre in what might be a bunting situation.
Right. Got to watch the bunt right here. Possible bunt.
Outside, ball 1. Sucre trying to advance Miller to 3rd.
And this is Sucre's type job right here. You know, in his 3rd season with Seattle, but not much of a hitter, average-wise. So his responsibility here, try to get Miller over to 3rd. But as a pitcher, if they're going to give you an out, you have to throw strikes.
2-0. With Miller advancing to 3rd.
Good sacrifice by Sucre right there, advancing Miller, so he does his job.
Bring up Austin Jackson. Follow Twins baseball all season this year with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bats up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Infield in now for Austin Jackson. Fisted to Dozier and a quick second out. And that'll bring up Seth Smith.
Yeah, fastball inside, and Jackson got tied up a little bit, hit that little soft line drive to Dozier. So a big out for Gibson.
And now Gibson will go after Seth Smith, who hit his first home run as a Mariner in the 4th inning leading off. Smith had gone 193 at bats between home runs. His last prior home run was against the Twins and Anthony Swarzak when he was a member of the Padres. Ball 1. Pitch count still good, but the percentage of strikes not good again for Gibson. 34 strikes, 28 balls. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Should Twins fans be concerned that Gibson isn't getting strikeouts?
Well, he's never really been a strikeout pitcher. Even in his career, he's averaged about 5 strikeouts per 9, but only 3 so far this year.
I mean, we're getting, what is it now, 20 innings?
Yep.
Inside 2-1.
First 3 innings, I thought he was in a really good groove. Then he left that pitch up to Smith and hit the home run, and he hasn't gotten that groove back.
2-1 to Smith. Gibson trying to strand Miller at 3rd after his leadoff double. 3-1. Does not want to face Robinson Cano with 2 men on base.
going to say it again. This is where you have to trust that two-seam fastball down and away for a strike.
Third walk of the ball game, third in the last 2 innings. And now for Gibson, a dozen walks this year and just the 3 strikeouts. Cano will come up with runners on the corners and 2 out. Cano drew a 4-pitch walk after Smith's home run in the 4th. So 3 of the last 9 batters have been given a free pass. Cano with a hard one hopper to Dozier, who threw him out in the 1st. Gibson missed the inside corner. Thielbar warming up in the Twins pen. Out in front of an off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Gibson facing one of the best hitters in the American League, if not all of baseball. Robinson Cano came in his 11th major league season, a career .310 hitter.
Escobar's there. A well-hit ball for the 3rd out. Miller stranded on the bases after his double, and it's still 2 apiece. Each team 7 wins, 10 losses. We're tied at 2 going to the 6th inning. Beautiful day in Seattle. Twins are looking forward to opening up a homestand tomorrow, coming off, they hope, a series win against the Mariners. It'll be Eduardo Escobar, Oswaldo Arcia, and Chris Herman facing Roenis Elias, starting the inning with 86 pitches.
A couple walks, 6 strikeouts for Elias.
Escobar takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Escobar 0 for 2. Was at the plate. Twins had runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Escobar fell behind, was trying to grind out an at bat. He ended up striking out on a check swing, and Nunez was thrown out trying to steal second. Outside, 2-1.
Elias has had some high pitch innings, 24 in the first, 20 in the fourth, but last inning just 8.
And strike call, 2-2. Twins out hitting the Mariners 6-3. They've committed, the Twins have, the only error in the game, a throwing error by Danny Santana. 3-2. Escobar trying to get aboard. He has not walked yet this year. He's been hit twice. Long look in, and Escobar, tired of waiting, asks for time.
Fastball away.
To right. Cruz retreats. 1 away. And we'll bring up Arcia. Hit the sweet spot all season long at Target Field. The Sweet Spot program is a unique set of benefits and experiences exclusive to Twins season ticket holders. Benefits range from pregame field passes, bobblehead dolls, taking batting practice on the field, or raising the Twins territory flag. Benefits are reserved exclusively for Twins full season 40-game and 20-game plan holders. Learn how you can become a season ticket holder at twinsbaseball.com or by calling 800-33-TWINS. Here's Arcia, struck out in the second, and then hooked a single into right field in the fourth. Most of the bat ended up behind first base in foul territory, 2 down.
Yeah, Butch Davis right there with the pieces of the barrel of the bat.
That broke lengthwise. Here's Herman. Somebody the other day, I think Friday night, broke Adrian Beltre's bat 3 times in a game, and Garrett Richards of the Angels, I guess, was the pitcher, and Beltre sent him an invoice for the bats the next day, wanting him to pay for them, since strike to Herman, and now 2 strikes. Herman 0 for 2. He struck out in the second and then hit a ground ball to Morrison. Ended up reaching on a fielder's choice in the fourth.
Now, does that go to a Richards or to his agent?
1-2.
Yeah, Lee is kind of dropping down right there. That's what he struck a Herman out on in his first at bat. Nasty breaking ball down and away.
Approaching 100 pitches. He settled down nicely in the middle innings here. 1-2 to Herman.
Left that up a little bit, and Herman fouled it off.
I think Chris would like to see that pitch again. Kind of opened up and took aim in the right field seats with that swing.
This will be pitch number 100 for Elias.
Foul back.
See the high first inning and then the fourth. And what got him out here for the 6th inning was because of only 8 pitches in the 5th.
Including a strikeout to end the inning. 1-2 to Chris Herman. 2-2. 2 to the Twins catcher. Fouled away. Santana on deck, hoping for a chance here in the 6th. Herman making his first plate appearances this year against a left-handed pitcher. Checked his swing, 3-2.
Yeah, good take right there by Herman.
Last year, Herman was 4 for 16 against lefties. To get aboard here by any means. Force the Mariners to make a move to their bullpen earlier than they'd like. Full count to Chris Herman. All back again. Good battle for Herman for falling behind early. Carson Smith, a right-hander, warming up. Coaxes a walk. Nice job by Herman getting aboard. We'll see whether the Mariners make a move. This is Trent Jewett coming out, who's been given the reins of the team after McClendon's ejection a couple innings ago. And that'll be the end of the night for Elias. And Danny Santana will hit left-handed against the right-handed reliever. Twins try to move Chris Herman, who can run pretty well. Mariners going to their bullpen here with 2 gone in the 6th inning.
Yeah, it'll be hard throwing Carson Smith coming out of the bullpen at 6'6", 25-year-old. A September call-up last year, did very well, made the club out of spring training, making his 9th relief appearance. So far, so good. 7 2/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks.
Santana, 7 hits, 40 at bats, 14 strikeouts, hitting from the left side of the plate. Herman, as we said, runs pretty well. We'll see whether the Twins try to take advantage of the 2-out walk and maybe nudge him forward into scoring position. Santana and Vargas have each had the same problem, pitch recognition. They have had a bad habit of swinging at pitches nowhere near the strike zone. So we'll see what Smith does here against Santana. First pitch strike on the outside corner. while he played and for years after he played, people would ask Ted Williams what the key was to hitting, and he would always say, get a good pitch to hit. There's no reason for a pitcher right now to throw Santana something to hit when they can throw pitches out of the strike zone and in the dirt. Up and away, and Sucre boxes it around a little bit, but Herman stays at first. And that's where Santana's kind of in between. He finds himself taking pitches and there's strikes, and then he gets aggressive and he doesn't get anything to hit anymore. Same for Vargas. 1-1.
That's a pitch right there that's really been a pain in the neck to both Santana and Vargas, is that breaking ball.
Ball was in about a foot off the inside corner, and Santana committed to it. 1-2. Santana waits on the breaking ball and lifts it foul. He hit .319 last year. He did a great job in the leadoff spot, and he attacked. Didn't draw many walks last year either, but a slow start to 2015 for the Twins shortstop. Herman aboard. 1-2 to Santana. Checked his swing. 2-2.
The scouting report on Carson Smith, that slider is his best pitch. He's thrown 3 in a row.
Fouled it off his front leg. Pitch down and in. Santana hit .319 last year, 405 at bats, and he only walked 19 times and struck out nearly 100 times.
Yeah, too many strikeouts for a guy that might hit, 10 home runs if he's lucky. Hit 7 last year.
Herman takes off at Santana. Flips it foul to the screen. Looking at Herman, waiting for him to go with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Not a freebie by any means, but a great chance with the hitter in kind of a defensive count to get into scoring position. Santana's flicked a couple of 2-strike fouls here to keep his at bat alive. Foul wide of the bag. This time Herman stayed put. Congratulations to the Minnesota Wild, winning their game and playoff series.
Yes, very nice.
Clinched in Game 6.
Congratulations.
Santana battling Smith.
9th pitch in this at bat.
Herman reached on a 10-pitch walk. At the very least, Santana battling here and having a competitive at bat. Now you'd like the payoff. Double into a corner. Herman goes, and the pitch hit to center. Jackson with the catch. Santana retires. The Twins scoreless in the 6th.
Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, have bowl for breakfast with the new chorizo burrito from McDonald's. Tied at 2 here down the coast. The Angels are tied at 2, and Mike Trout has just hit a home run against Anthony Bass. And I don't know whether Tim Salmon is working on the broadcast or not. 1 strike from Gibson to Cruz.
Sounds like one of those fish stories.
Where's Mike Carp these days? Rangers and Angels tied at 2 in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
There's a good slider right there by Gibson.
Oh, and 2 to Nelson Cruz. Gibson sailed through 3 innings, gave up just 1 hit, then the leadoff home run, all sorts of control issues, a couple of runs allowed in the 4th. Particularly looked sharp in the 5th, but he pitched around a leadoff double to keep this a 2-2 game. Now he hopes for a better 6th inning. Breaking ball, Tapper foul. You identify Gibson. You're right. He isn't a strikeout pitcher, but still was able to get 5 or 6 strikeouts per 9 innings last year. And it just seems odd that over 20 innings into his season, he has just 3. And all 3 came in his 2nd start. There's a strikeout. And Cruz is tagged, 1 away.
And then he went back to the slider, it looked like, down and away. So Gibson picking up a strikeout. Straight over the top, little cutter, great location. And there's 2 sliders that he threw very well in this at bat against Cruz.
Kyle Seager singled in the 2nd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Pitch count still good, just the 75th pitch coming for Kyle Gibson. Down and in, ball 1. Both teams had an off day on Thursday. Both teams got a complete game from their starter on Friday. So as we get into the late innings here, both bullpens are in pretty good shape.
Yeah, last night's ball game, Twins used everybody but J.R. Graham. 6 relievers used. What do we remember? Trevor May ended up having to leave the ball game in the 4th inning, being hit by that line drive back up the middle.
3-0 now to Seager. Graham is pitched just once since he hit Alex Rios with a pitch at Target Field at the start of the last homestand. Foul, green lighted. It's 3-1. One down here in the 6th. Twins had a 2-0 lead. Mariners tied it up. 3-1. Seager drives one to left center field and deep. And one hopping the wall. Seager's been on the ball here today. A ringing double to left center field with 1 out in the 6th.
Again, I think what we have seen when the count is in that hitter's favor and Gibson doesn't have that strikeout type pitch, that they're going to sit on that fastball, and that's what Seager got right here. Fastball, took it the other way. His 2nd hit of the ball game, his 5th double of the year. Ball 1 hopping the fence at that 376 mark. Robinson gets it back in.
Logan Morrison, the batter. Fourth hit for Seattle. Gibson pitched around a leadoff double in the 5th. Now trying to do the same with a 1-out double in the 6th. Rolled to the right side. Bauer backhands. Gibson to the bag. 2 down, and Seager advances to 3rd.
May 6th, it's the 11th annual Kids in the City celebrating the Fox Sports North Boys and Girls Clubs All-Stars. The event starts with a pregame party at Fulton Brewery, followed by the Twins and A's. Cost is $75 and includes food, beverages, and a ticket to the game. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar for details. 2 down, and here's Ackley, 0 for 2. A fly ball to left, a ground ball to second. Way outside, ball 1. Activity in the Twins' pen. They would like Gibson to complete the 6th inning in a tie game.
Yeah, but again, the pitch count's okay at 81 pitches.
Popped up, foul, and out of play.
Ackley, a fly ball out and a ground ball out. Thielbar and Boyer getting loose. Thielbar was up last inning.
Nice stop by Herman. That ball landed in the left-handed batter's box. 2-1.
Yeah, this looked like the slider right here that Gibson threw right at the feet of Ackley, and Herman did a good job.
I would think as a catcher those are the toughest because the ball is landing where feet have been planted all afternoon long.
A lot of spin on that ball too.
Right. 2-1. Foul. One of the issues on this road trip, it's been getting the 3rd out of an inning. Paul Molitor's had to make too many pitching changes with 2 outs in an inning. It really hurt the Twins in Kansas City and led to a lost lead and a lost ball game. Kind of became an issue again in the ball game last night. See if Gibson can wrap things up here in the 6th. 2-2 to Ackley. Got him. And 2 strikeouts in the 6th inning. And another double is wasted by the Mariners, and we're tied going to the 7th. Brian Dozier will lead off the 7th inning. Then Shane Robinson, Joe Mauer. Dozier 0 for 2 with a walk. Squaring to bunt, taking strike 1. Twins hoping to head home with a 3-3 road trip. That's nothing to write home about, but Sure beats a 1-5 road trip, which is what the Twins did on their first road trip. Again, Dozier squares 1-1. Beyond that, the games for the most part since that 3-game series in Detroit have all been competitive. There have been a couple of ugly games. The home opener was ugly. First game in Kansas City wasn't all that great, but off-speed pitcher tickles the corner 1-2.
Took something off that slider right there.
Nice to steal one here this afternoon in Seattle. This Mariner team with the same record and a lot of the same issues that the Twins have had so far this year. 1-2. Dozier takes ball 2. Dozier's walk in the 4th inning, his 9th walk of the year. Mauer leads the team with 10. Just put the outside corner, and Dozier with a little bat flip in disapproval.
Well, we see it from up here. Looked like a pretty good pitch. It's just a matter of where the height was. Big break right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
One down. Robinson has scored both Twins runs. Walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third. Picks it up high, ball 1. Twins started the 3rd inning with Robinson's single, Mauer's RBI double. Since then, they've gotten just 2 singles. Two 2-0. As the Twins try to find a leadoff batter, as Robinson continues to find his way on the bases. Foul. I wonder if down the road, if things don't improve out of the leadoff spot, and if the Twins want to transplant Dozier lower in the order, whether Robinson might not get a shot as a leadoff
those
batter.
are the decisions that Paul, Molitor has to. I mean, we've seen him toy, with the leadoff hitter, moving Torrey from the cleanup to the number 2 hole. Joe Mauer's basically stayed in that 3 hole. Who's going to be the cleanup hitter?
3-1. And the reason managers
he's still playing with it.
Yeah, and the reason a manager does that is things aren't working quite the way that you'd like, and that's trying to find different combinations. 3-1 to Robinson. Lifted to right field, chased by Cruz. 2 down. Go back to our carsoup.com trivia question. In this ballpark, as a Twin, which player has the most home runs? Morneau. Your guess?
I don't know. We'll see who it is. Oh, I would have said Torrey Hunter.
Okay. They were teammates.
Yes, they were.
For a number of years. Pitching change here for the Mariners with Mauer at the plate and 2 down in the 7th inning.
The fans were great there.
Try to miss Felix if you can.
It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just kind of that perfect temperature for baseball.
Roof closure, natural grass, the great Northwest. Nice place.
It is beautiful, and it is a far cry from the Kingdom. 2-2 our score, and the Mariners bring in left-hander Charlie Furbush to face Joe Mauer.
Yeah, Furbush making his 9th appearance, 4.15 earned run average. In only a 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs off of him with a walk and 4 strikeouts. Furbush in his 5th season with the Mariners.
In terms of hitting the ball hard, Joe's had his best game today. A line drive single in the 1st, an RBI double to the wall in left center in the 3rd, and then a liner to Ackley in the 5th. On the outside corner, strike 1. Mauer now 12 hits, 32 at bats against left-handers, and now 2 doubles. Checks his swing 1-1. On this road trip, Mauer's on base percentage, which is a big number for him. He has always been among the best prior to last season. On base percentage now of .382, climbing steadily towards .400.
Yeah, Mauer 1 for 3 in his career against Furbush.
Got a pitch up and fouled it straight back.
A hanging slider right there. Furbush, 29 years old. Signed by the Tigers in 2007 out of LSU. Came over the Tigers in 2011 and then traded to the Seattle Mariners that year.
1-2 to Mauer. Liner to Jackson. Joe Mauer has hit the ball hard 4 times today. Twins go down 1-2-3 in the 7th. And we are tied at 2, and here at Safeco Field on a Sunday afternoon, it's our pleasure to bring you God Bless America.
In the field as we honor our great country, the singing of God Bless America with Michael Sicoli.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Brook with an RBI single in the first inning, scored Robertson, who walked earlier in the inning. Twins added 2-0, made it 2-0 thanks to the RBI double by Joe Mauer. And then a home run by Seth Smith made it a 2-1 game. Gibson walked a couple batters. They scored another run, tied it at 2 apiece as Cano scores. And Gibson out there to start his 7th inning of work.
First pitch missed someplace. Ball 1 to Brad Miller, who doubled, leading off the 5th. Ended up at third base. Gibson's had to pitch around a couple of extra base hits to keep this a tie game, 2-0. It'll be Miller, Sucre, and Jackson in the 7th.
Yeah, Mariners only have 4 hits, but a home run, a couple doubles, and a single off of Gibson. He's walked 3, he's struck out a couple.
2-1. Gibson with 1 win on the year in that game. At home against Kansas City, he went 6 2/3 innings. Trying to get some outs here in the 7th today as well. 3-1. 3 walks issued by Gibson, 2 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Not had a 1-2-3 inning since the first inning. Flip foul, 3-2. With a career mark of 16 and 18 and an ERA of just under 5. ERA both this year and for the season should go down unless things blow up in his face here in the 7th. Got him. Another strikeout.
Well, it looked like a changeup right there. Good changeup right there in Gibson, who came in 15 1/3 innings with only 3 strikeouts, picks up his 3rd here today.
Struck out 3 of the last 5 batters. Here is Sucre. First pitch strike. Now you tell me, doesn't Sucre look like the missing Molina brother? A chopper to Bluth.
Oh, he gets down that line way too quick for Molina. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Gibson now with a chance for that 1-2-3 inning here in the 7th. Austin Jackson is 0 for 3. 2 grounders to short. And a liner to Dozier, a broken bat line drive. Strike 1.
What I've seen over the last 3 innings for Gibson, he's doing a better job of getting that slider over. He talked to us about that.
One hopper to Bluth.
Good inning.
Gibson's 7th inning might be his best of the afternoon. We're still tied at 2. suspended game from Friday. David Robertson got the win in that game, and then Robertson got the save in the nightcap. So Kansas City with a 12-6 mark now, having 2 losses today, and the White Sox climbing toward the 500 mark. Twins hoping to do the same thing. Trevor Plouffe will lead off the 8th inning against Danny Farquhar.
Farquhar coming in for the 9th time this year out of that bullpen. 10 innings, 11 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts.
Plouffe takes strike 1. Plouffe, Nunez, Escobar, middle of the lineup. And as we are bringing you the 8th inning, the reminder that Vargas, Hunter, Suzuki, and Schaefer are on the Twins bench. A chopper to Seager. And Plouffe, who got 2 of those himself, is retired on a ground ball to the third baseman.
Yeah, 3rd time that Trevor Plouffe has grounded out to Seager.
We'll bring up Eduardo Nunez. Twins haven't done much offensively at all. Their last hit was Arcia's leadoff single in the 4th inning. And yet they're out hitting the Mariners 6-4. Nunez has one of the Twins' hits, a 3rd inning single. Nice guy for the Twins to get on base because he can run a little bit, create some issues out there for the Mariners. Out in front of the off-speed pitch, strike 1. Fastball away. $35,000 paid here today. Now 2-1 to Nunez. Nunez has actually drawn a walk this year, but just the 1 walk. He's got a 3-1 count with Escobar on deck. Time call. Driven to left. And Ackley has it sail over his head. A hard carom. Nunez digging for second. And he's there with a stand up, helmet off double.
Nunez with his 2nd hit of the ball game. Got the count in his favor. Sat on that fastball and hit it sharply over the head of Ackley in left field. Fastball right there. Good swing by Nunez. Line drive. 1 hopping to fence. And Nunez knowing it's a double. Good hustle.
And
there goes the helmet.
So fast, the air pressure underneath the brim of the helmet just pushed it off. Well, now here's Escobar. Escobar takes a pitch down in the dirt. You look at players and you go, okay, well, what can they do well? Nunez can mash a low fastball. And he just mashed one. There goes Nunez. Ooh, he took 2 steps toward third and then slammed on the brakes. 2-0 now to Escobar.
As a pitcher, sometimes you have to look back a couple times, and that's what Rick Waits, maybe the pitching coach, coming out to talk to his pitcher about.
That's what I was mentioning before. You know, more than Plouffe or even Escobar, Nunez creates some issues when he's out on the bases because he can steal a base, can score from second easily on a hit to the outfield. So with that, you might bunch the middle infielders a little bit towards second base, which might open up a hole. (2-0) to Eduardo Escobar. He's got 1 hit in the series, but it was a big one, a game-tying home run in last night's game. Aaron Thompson warming up. Strike one. Scored in the first inning, added another run in the third, now trying to score and retake the lead in the eighth. Tap foul. Escobar waited. Something at 73 miles per hour.
That's a big, slow curveball.
2-2. Escobar taps it foul. For the pitch, Miller, the shortstop, cut behind Nunez to try to get his momentum shifted back towards second base.
Sometimes as a pitcher, if you see that shortstop going to the bag, you have to step off because that does create that big hole. That shortstop.
Escobar protecting the plate, fouls it against the dugout screen. And time called. Farquhar looking at second while Escobar asked for time. Drive to the corner and foul by about 5 feet. Escobar with a couple of outfield flies and then struck out on a check swing in the third. Battling Farquhar. Jam shot and a roller behind Butch Davis. Escobar has yet to draw a walk this year. And Escobar again asks for time. This similar to the at bat he had in the third inning when the Twins had runners at first and third and one down. Escobar ended up going down on strikes. Up and away, 3-2. Arcia on deck.
Twins have had some good at bats here this afternoon. Herman had that long at bat. Santana. Escobar here.
Full count. Escobar strikes out again. 2 down.
Took something off that pitch right there, and Escobar a little out front. Farquhar picking up a strikeout. Change up, good movement.
And now Sucre to the mound with Arcia coming to the plate. Arcia 1 for 3. This will be the first time he's faced a right-handed pitcher today. And again, marginally, Arcia's actually hit lefties better than righties. Looking for a big hit here, maybe the biggest hit he's gotten since his 2-run home run at Target Field. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Check swing up high, ball 1. Arcia's walked 3 times, but they've all been intentional walks. Sucre bluffs the throw to second.
And they're going to go ahead and walk Arcia intentionally. Bell behind 2-0. Going to take their chance against Chris Herman.
4 intentional walks on the season for Arcia. He'll go to first. Herman is 0 for 2 with a walk. 3 for 11 on the season. plate appearances on this road trip. And he takes ball one. High 2-0. Strike zone. Two and one to Chris Herman. Popped up down the left field line. Ackley running to the line and making a foul ball catch. And the Twins leave two in the top of the eighth. Kyle Gibson out there to start the eighth, facing Seth Smith. Ball one. Smith with a bouncer to short, a solo home run to right center, and a walk against Gibson.
Just missing there.
2-0. Smith, Cano, and Cruz. Ball on 2-0, and he gets a swing and a miss. We've seen that as Gibson settled down here a bit in his later innings. He's mixed in more off-speed stuff.
Well, he's getting that slider, that the changeup right there. A lot more confidence in that changeup.
And a strikeout of Miller, I believe, on a 3-2 pitch with the changeup. That's down the line and a base hit. Skittering away from Escobar. It'll be an extra base hit. Smith has two, and he'll hold up with a leadoff double.
Well, second hit for Smith. Home run into fourth. Here got a fastball away and just went with it. Take a look at the location. Fastball down and away, and Smith hitting it right down that left field line. Kind of caroms around the corner. Escobar plays the wall, gets it back in. Smith with his 4th double of the year.
And Paul Molitor out to make a pitching change. He'll bring in Aaron Thompson to face Robinson Cano. Gibson's longest outing. Can't pick up the win. He leaves in a tie game. Those were for extra bases, 3 doubles, and Smith's leadoff double in the 8th has brought in Aaron Thompson.
Yeah, Aaron Thompson making his 10th relief appearance. He worked in last night's ball game through 24 pitches, 15 for strikes. Did allow a 2-run home run to Austin Jackson, the only hit he allowed.
The signs given by Chris Herman will be given with the shin guards rather than the fingers. Talk about that in a second. Here's Cano. Down and away, ball 1. Thompson for years has asked his catchers. There's Justin Ruggiano running for Smith. Aaron Thompson has a vision problem even on a bright sunshiny day like this, and so he asks his catchers to give signs using the shin guard and the chest protector. Now Thompson, who wears glasses away from the ballpark, is going to get some contact lenses, he told me, sometime in the next couple of weeks, but he still likes this system of calling pitches by his catcher.
Yeah, you can go, your right shin guard is a fastball, middle's breaking ball. Maybe your left shin guard's a curveball or a changeup.
And Thompson to the bag, 1 away, but now Ruggiano is 90 feet away. 1 down, and we'll see what the Twins do with Nelson Cruz. Cruz leading the major leagues in home runs and runs batted in.
Don't be surprised if they go ahead and put him on. Set up the double play. Kyle Seager on deck, a left-handed hitter. And that's what Paul's saying right there. Go ahead and walk him.
So Cruz will be intentionally passed, it appears.
Leading the American League in home runs, runs batted in.
This will be the first intentional walk of his season. It will not be the last. Mariners felt that they needed somebody to hit behind Cano, so they signed Cruz to a big contract, and so far it's been a real good signing for the Mariners. And they also felt that they've got a good hitter in Seager to hit behind Cruz, but Seager's not leading the world in home runs and runs batted in. First and third, 1 down. Seager has 2 hits in 3 trips this afternoon. What we've seen from Thompson suggests he's more of a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, 6 strikeouts in 12 and now 2/3 innings pitched.
Neil Allen to the mound, wants to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Thompson gave up a 2-run home run to Austin Jackson in his outing last night. Trying to keep that man at third base.
Yeah, the infield kind of playing back, looking for the double play.
Lefty against lefty. Swing and a foul back, 1 strike.
Seager's hit into 2 double plays this year.
Shortening the infield up a little bit here now. One and one. The left-handed batter Logan Morrison on deck. As we said last night, right before Jackson's home run, what separated Thompson this year from a lot of left-handed relievers is dominance of right-handed batters. 1 and 1. Out in front of the off-speed pitch, 1 and 2.
Good location of that breaking ball. Seager so far this year against lefties hitting .375.
Thompson giving up a .188 average to lefties and an .087 to righties. 1 and 2. Blocked by Herman. 2 and 2. Ball hit the dirt. That means you got to have a new one.
Herman going out and talking to Thompson, see how they want to go about it right here. Look like 4 straight breaking balls so far. Do they try to sneak a fastball by him, or do they stay with that breaking ball?
It's the breaking ball and a huge strikeout for out number 2.
Yeah, that's kind of a spinner that stayed up. The other 4 pitches were down. Still a little pitch by pitch to Seager. That's the curveball. Seager probably would have liked to have that one back, but then he went 1-1, came back with that other good breaking ball. And then Seager took that for a 2-2 count. And this one just stayed up. And Seager swinging through it, so a big strikeout for Aaron Thompson.
And now Logan Morrison. Infield back at normal depth now. They need to get just 1 out. Morrison's only hit in this series a home run on Friday night. Breaking ball, strike 1. I don't believe he's thrown anything but those breaking balls to the left-handed batters.
He's got good tight break on that.
Runner goes, and they're trying to get Herman to throw to second. He wants no part of it. That's the longest stolen base that Nelson Cruz has ever had, as he stopped and started twice before finally going on to second.
He was coying Herman to come on, go ahead and throw it.
One and one to the batter. right-handers, left-handers, they don't get a real good swing on that breaking ball. 1-2 to Morrison.
He's put that breaking ball in good spots too. Trust your catcher that he, if it's in the dirt, will block it, and Herman has. Like that.
Wow. And Herman squared his shoulders and angled his torso to just keep that ball in the dirt near home plate.
Yeah, good stop right there by Chris Herman.
Two and 2 to Morrison. To center. Getting over. What a job by Aaron Thompson.
Yes.
Another leadoff double is wasted by the Mariners.
Did. Let's do a little pitch by pitch to Logan Morrison right here after striking out Seager. He got strike one, tried the fastball, might have been the only fastball we saw. Morrison fouled it off. And a great stop by Herman right there. And then a high breaking ball, but it's hit right to Robinson out in center field. So a great job by Aaron Thompson. He definitely answered the bell.
Now we go to the ninth in a tie game. Danny Santana will lead things off for the Twins against the Mariner closer, Fernando Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney making his 8th relief appearance. See the 4 saves and 5 save opportunities. Rodney last year led the American League with 48 saves. Made the All-Star team the second time he's been on an All-Star team. In his second season with the Mariners.
Hasn't pitched in this series yet. Santana 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch. He's been behind in the count 2 strikes quickly in all 3 plate appearances, and it's been a tough start for Santana and a little thread of positivity in his last at bat. He actually had a good lengthy at bat, fouled off some 2-strike pitches before putting the ball in play on a fly ball to center. We'll see what he can get done here. And he takes a fastball, strike 1. Santana, Dozier, and Robinson in the ninth.
Now Rodney at 38 years old can still get that fastball in the mid-90s.
Strike 2 over the inside corner.
Very good changeup. 94-mile-an-hour fastball and then an 84-mile-an-hour changeup.
And Santana again behind 0-2. One and two. We got a run on the first, run on the third, haven't scored since. Get the speedy Santana aboard to start the ninth. There's a little nubber,
Stay
and
fair.
that will stay in the grass and be an infield hit for Santana. It traveled 50 feet, and his speed is aboard at first, leading off the ninth.
Yeah, you just hope that it doesn't get on the dirt. In some ballparks, it'll roll toward the foul territory, but this one hugged the grass. So Santana, even though it was right off the end of the bat, a lot of spin on this ball. But the ball able to stay right on the grass right there.
And now with Santana at first, nobody out, Dozier at the plate, hitless in the ball game. He has drawn a walk. Down and away, ball one. Santana had never faced Rodney. Dozier has a couple of times. Robinson's never faced him. Mauer has. So change up over the inside corner. One and one to the Twins' second baseman. Well, the Mariner outfield essentially in no doubles defense. They're playing very deep across the outfield, which of course gives Dozier a little more cushion in front of the outfielders to drop a base hit. 1-2. Santana goes, and the ball grounded to short. Safe at second and out at first. Almost as if Miller was oblivious to the fact that Santana had taken off.
Yeah, Cano so nonchalantly just threw out. Not too often you're going to get a 6-4-3 put out. But Miller, I guess, took the chance that maybe Santana would be a little slow getting there. Look at Cano, how easy he just.
Yeah. I mean, how does a shortstop? I mean, Santana was popping up from his slide by the time the ball got to second base. The go-ahead run at second, one down, and here's Shane Robinson. Has scored both Twins runs. Foul. One strike.
Yeah, Fernando Rodney has such a good changeup. You know, as a hitter, you look for that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, then he can pull the string, and that last changeup at 84.
Cano and Santana each about 15 feet from second base. Robinson late on the fastball. You hear about the changeup, now you've seen it, and then the fastball beats you.
Well, you almost have to sit on the fastball and then adjust to either the breaking ball or the changeup, but he threw that ball right past Shane. I don't think that'll happen again. Now, what do you look for? Rodney also with a slider. He hasn't thrown it yet.
On the outside corner with a fastball.
Right after him.
2 down. And that'll bring up Mauer with a base open. Mauer with 5 hits in 17 at-bats against Rodney.
Well, just rearing back and challenging him. And Rodney averaging over his career a strikeout per inning.
Mauer will be intentionally walked. And that will leave it to Plouffe, who's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts against Fernando Rodney. Had a threat in the 8th after Nunez's 1-out double. Santana's squibber set the stage this inning, and now first and second, 2 down, and Plouffe to the plate.
Third time Joe Mauer has been intentionally walked.
Plouffe drove in the first run for the Twins today with a busted bat single to center. Since then, he's hit the ball to Kyle Seager 3 times. See Santana's lead at second with Cano in the vicinity. Trying to foul, 1 strike.
Start him off with a changeup.
Strike to Plouffe. Just off the outside corner with a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Rodney wanted that pitch. Just off the edge. Ouch. Get a new bat. Right in on the handle of the bat, right above his hands. 1 and 2. Saw Rodney's numbers. Santana's roller up the line, the 10th hit he's allowed now in 7 innings. Plouffe trying to deliver a big 2-out hit here in the 9th. 2 and 2.
Three straight fastballs at 96.
Chopper to third, and Seager fires to second. That wraps things up, and the Twins leave 2 aboard in the 9th. Fiend.
Yeah, Fiend coming in for the 7th time. 1 shutout inning in last night's win over the Mariners. 23 pitches, 15 for strikes for Casey Fiend last night.
Ackley 0 for 3. Struck out his last time up against Kyle Gibson. Bottom third of the Seattle lineup. Ackley, Miller, and Sucre due up. Strike 1 to Dustin Ackley. Breaking pitch missing the outside corner. Shot to right to start the 9th inning for Ackley.
Ackley picking up his first hit. That little cutter came right into the swing of Ackley.
Time now for What's Next, brought to you by Century Link. Twins have a chance to face the Tigers again and David Price again starting tomorrow night. Price had a rough outing against the Yankees in the cold and snow at Comerica Park, and Tommy Malone hopes to go 3-0 for Minnesota. See what the Mariners do here with Brad Miller. Plouffe already in on the grass. Sucre, the on-deck hitter, has been called back to the dugout.
And Miller squaring around early. Well, Trevor Plouffe has, of course, he's going to be charging in from third. As a pitcher, your responsibility, cover that first base line. With Joe Mauer's holding on the runner.
Open away, ball 1. Sucre, the scheduled next hitter, dropped down a sacrifice in the 5th after Miller's leadoff double, but Gibson pitched out of that. 1-0. Ricky Weeks has come out onto the on-deck circle. He apparently will hit for the catcher.
Miller does not have a sacrifice yet this year.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. Plouffe looking in the dugout, wondering where the dugout wants him to play. He stays about 80 feet from home plate as Fiend goes into the stretch.
Scoring around early again.
But Fiend has one play. And on the sacrifice, Ackley goes to second.
Well, second time in a ball game, the Mariners have laid down a sacrifice bunt. So Miller doing his job, getting Ackley to second base.
Ricky Weeks to the plate. Weeks throughout his career very strikeout prone. 31 at bats, 11 strikeouts, and Fiend will try to get him here. Another right-handed batter, Austin Jackson, on deck. Down and away, ball 1.
"11 seasons Weeks wore a Milwaukee Brewer uniform, now in his first year here in Seattle.
Two and 0. Weeks known for a lot of strikeouts, not known as a walker. He has just one walk with his 31 at bats. Swing and a miss. 2-1. to take it. Two and two to Ricky Weeks. Got him. And Weeks, the called third strike, is out number 2.
Big strikeout right there for Casey Fiend. Fastball.
That wasn't the cutter. That was just rear back and shave the corner right there. Herman to the mound. Mariners are now 0 for 11 today with men in scoring position. And Fiend trying to make it 0 for 12. Jackson's 0 for 4, has not gotten the ball out of the infield. Herman went to the mound, then Fiend wanted to chat with him again. Down the middle of strike. Jackson, like Weeks, very strikeout prone in his career, has managed to put the ball in play 4 times today weekly. Strike to Jackson. One and 2.
Yeah, good breaking ball right there. Good location.
Trying to pitch around the leadoff single, and he's thrown some great pitches to strike out Weeks and get ahead now of Jackson. One and 2. Got it with a high fastball. 2 strikeouts as the Mariners strand Ackley at second, and we're headed to the 10th inning. all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Well, good job by Casey Fiend after the leadoff single.
Well, you look at
able to work out of it.
Opportunities the Mariners have had. They had a leadoff double in the 5th, didn't score. 1-out double in the 6th, didn't score. Leadoff double in the 8th, didn't score. Leadoff single in the 9th, didn't score. The Twins have had opportunities too, particularly in the last 2 innings, to retake the lead. It'll be Eduardo Nunez leading off the 10th.
And Tyler Olson out there. He faced only one batter in last night's ball game. In the 6th inning, faced Joe Mauer, and Joe able to drive in a run, a single off of him, making just his 8th appearance in his rookie season.
Nunez takes strike 1. Nunez drove a double to the base of the fence in left center field his last time up with 1 out in the 8th, but never was advanced even to third base. 3 feet in front of the plate, 1-1. Eduardo Nunez, Eduardo Escobar, and Oswaldo Arcia, with Mike Zunino doing the catching. One and 2.
Olson kind of a slinger. Fastball clocked about 90. Hard breaking ball.
Pop up. And Zunino is able to get out of his crouch in time to make the catch. One away. A short pop up. About 40 feet from home plate. Zunino was able to get there.
Hey, just come into the ball game. Zunino kind of lost it at the beginning, then found it, made a nice catch.
And now Eduardo Escobar. Escobar with just 1 hit in the series, the game tying home run last night. Just off the plate. That might have had the corner, but it's ball 1. Two and 0. Olson, pitcher number 6 for Seattle. Three and 0. Garcia on deck. On the middle, 3-1. Seager with another chance. 2 down. Twins have kept him busy, particularly the Twins' third baseman, Trevor Plouffe. 2 down, and now Arcia. Arcia 1 for 3. A line drive single to right against left-handed starter Roenis Elias. Eventually was intentionally walked in his 8th inning plate appearance. Outside ball 1. Popped up center field. Austin Jackson comes in, and Olson has an easy 1-2-3, top of the 10th. Casey Fiend pitched around a leadoff single. He's out there to pitch to the Mariners again in the 10th inning. He'll face Ruggiano, Cano, and Cruz in the 10th.
Yeah, 16 pitches in the first inning for Casey Fiend in relief. 11 for strikes, a couple strikeouts.
Well, the Mariners have used 6 pitchers here today. The Twins have used just 3. Thompson did a good job in relief of Kyle Gibson, and now Fiend has to get a second set of 3 outs. High fly center field. And Robinson back, still short of the track. 1 pitch, 1 out. Let's get caught up in a 2-2 game.
Well, Twins were on the board in the first inning thanks to Trevor Plouffe's RBI single, scoring Robinson, who had walked Joe Mauer, a double. That in the third inning, that scored Robinson. Seth Smith, a home run. Made it 2-1. And then Robinson Cano scoring on this fielder, or this out right here. Off the bat of Seager.
Cano is 0 for 3.
I'm sorry, that was off the bat of Morrison.
Cano walked and scored. Back in the 4th. Missing inside, ball 1. One and one to Cano. 2-1. Popped up on the left field line. Very long run for Escobar. Gets there for out number 2. Playing back near the warning track. A long sprint. And the transplanted infielder ended up getting there for out number 2.
This ball had a lot of hang time, and that allowed Escobar. You see how far he had to come to get that ball. Nice running catch by Escobar.
2 down. And here is Cruz. Cruz has walked twice, once intentionally. Ball 1.
And you know what Cruz is looking for right here. He's looking for something middle in that he can hit out.
Was out over the plate, and he spun it back to the backstop. 1-1. 9 home runs, 20 runs batted in, each leading Major League Baseball. One and one from Fiend. Bouncer to short. Santana scoops. And we head to the 11th. Casey Fiend with 2 effective innings of relief. Jerky, feed your wild side.
We feed your wild side.
2-2 as we head to the 11th.
Twins need a run right here.
Chris Herman will lead things off. Herman's first game on this road trip, and at least 11 innings will be played. Herman is 0 for 3 with a walk.
Tyler Olson in his second outing, or second inning. Mainly a starter in the minor leagues for the Mariners.
Check swing, ball 1.
Went to spring training as a non-roster player, made the club out of spring training. Last year pitched at single A and double A.
2-0. He had a clean 10th inning. He'll face Herman, Santana, Dozier. Vargas, Hunter, Suzuki, Schaefer still available off the bench. Check swing, 3-0. Oh, they call that one a strike. I beg your pardon. It's Ted Barrett, the third base ump, saying that Herman went too far. Three and one. And he missed inside, a 5-pitch walk. Herman's aboard. Let's see what the Twins do with Santana, who's been struggling to make contact. Did make contact in the 9th. Hit a roller up the third baseline for an infield hit. Certainly, I would think, be asked to bunt here with Dozier on deck. It's a good bunt. And Seager fires across. Herman to second. And Santana sacrifices the go-ahead runner into scoring position.
He does his job right there.
And now Dozier will hit with Robinson on deck, and we'll see if the Mariners pitch to Dozier. Brian 0 for 4 with a walk, and they will intentionally walk Dozier.
For Olson, that is his 6th intentional walk of the season. Of the 9 that he has been charged as far as walks.
And now Dozier will go to first. You can pick up your glove. Check out the 2015 Weekend Warrior ticket package. It's a bundle of Friday games or Saturday games or Sunday home games. Become a Twins season ticket holder. Get your ticket to summer. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com/Weekend Warrior for more info or to place a deposit. Shane Robinson has scored both Twins runs. A walk and a run scored in the first, a single and a run scored in the third. Since then, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Robinson takes high. And to the mound, Zunino. Such an important man for Olson to get because of who's in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, and Rick Waits, the pitching coach, is going to hustle out there.
You need to get this guy because of how Mauer's been swinging the bat. He's hit the ball hard 4 times today, righty lefty. He's been on the ball, and the last thing the Mariners want to do is face Mauer with the tying run 90 feet away.
That's why I was a little surprised they walked Dozier intentionally right there, because it does give Mauer a chance to come up this inning unless Robinson hits into a double play.
1-0. Up high again, 2-0. Inning started with a walk, then an intentional walk. Those walks sandwiching a sacrifice bunt.
Outfield playing very shallow.
And there's a strike, 2-1.
See the outfielders.
Foul. Breaking ball, and Robinson way out in front, 2-2. Robinson went down swinging in the fourth, looking in the ninth. Big at bat for one of the newest Twins. Popped up behind first. Morrison. Foul ball catch, 2 down. And that will bring up Mauer. Joe with hits his first 2 times up, both solidly hit. And then a line out to the left fielder Ackley and a line out to the center fielder Jackson. He was intentionally walked in the ninth.
As I mentioned earlier, Joe Mauer faced Olson in the 6th inning. And on 4 pitches, Joe Mauer got a base hit off of him and picked up an RBI. Hit it right back up the middle.
Fouled back.
Good
Got
swing.
a hanger. And fouled it straight back. A drive to right.
Hit by him.
All the way to the wall. Herman will score. Dozier will score. Mauer on his way to third with a 2-run triple. He has stung the ball harder today in one game than any game last year.
Well, he got a breaking ball again. He missed that first one, fouled it off, and Olson came back with another one that even hung better for Joe. Good solid swing. And Cruz going to his right could not catch up to it. And the ball rolled all the way to the wall.
Officially 3 for 5. He's blistered the ball 5 times. Every time, every at bat he's had today has been against a left-handed pitcher. 1 strike to Plouffe. Now inside 1-1.
Yeah, great day at the plate for Joe Mauer.
2-1.
There's that leadoff walk to Herman that set this up.
Short. Miller has it. And he throws to Morrison. But Joe Mauer with 3 runs batted in on the day. A 2-run triple in the 11th sets up Glenn Perkins. It's going to be because of Mauer's 2-run triple and Glenn Perkins picking up the save in the 11th. 4 for 4 in save opportunities. He'll face Seager, Morrison, and Ackley.
Yeah, Perk picked up the save last night in the 8-5 win. 16 pitches, 12 for strikes. Did give up a base hit, had a strikeout.
Seager, a couple of hits on the day, 2 for 4. We saw last night in Perkins getting the save was reliance on the fastball. He threw a couple of sliders, but seemed to really rely on last night he had it up to 95 miles per hour. 1-1. Jordan Schaefer in center. Shane Robinson moving over to right field. Oswaldo Arcia out of the game. 1-1. 1-2. Bullpen so far has been outstanding for the Twins. Thompson came in the 8th, got 3 big outs. Fiend got 6 outs. Popped up left field. Escobar's out there. 1 down. We'll bring up Logan Morrison. Remember the situation Thompson came into in the 8th. Gibson had just given up the leadoff double, and he was able to pitch with an intentional walk included. He was able to go through the middle of the Seattle lineup and keep that runner on base.
That's why, even though Perkins will get the save here if he's able to get the next 2 outs, but really Thompson, kind of the guy that saved the game after the leadoff double that Smith had against Kyle Gibson. Thompson came in and did a great job.
1-0 to Morrison. On the ground, right to Dozier. 2 down. And that'll bring up Dustin Ackley. Willie Bloomquist hitting for Ackley. The last bench player for the Mariners. Trying to keep the game alive for the Mariners. Swing and a miss.
Bloomquist, a veteran of 14 major league seasons, his second stint back with the Mariners. Came up with him in 2002.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
Perkins, 8 pitches, 6 strikes.
0-2 to Bloomquist. Struck him out. And the Twins in extra innings win the series in Seattle and head home with a .500 road trip. Tom Hanneman, the road trip started off on an ugly note, but the Twins played very good baseball after that opening game in Kansas City and now head home with an 8-10 season mark.